All right. Hey, hey. Welcome back, guys. All right. So we are going to do a today's topic video, but I'd really like to get us back on track. I usually like to be 2 days ahead. So we're going to do a video that is going to be for both the 11th and the 12th of September. So we're going to do two messages in this. Let's start out with whatever the today's topic message is for the 11th. I'm going to get a couple cards for starters. We've got Six of Swords with a Five of Swords and the Chariot. Okay, so immediately I would say this is like time to move on from conflict and try to especially like that's hard to do when two people have had conflict, of course, but it says it would behoove our characters to like lay down whatever the arguments have been. This, obviously we have this lion and this unicorn, and they have not been happy at all. Now the lion might be bad because the unicorn was supposed to be, really special, and maybe they've been disappointed. Whatever this is, it says to move on from conflict, simply because, and this is kind of like no matter if it means moving on from the connection as well, it's just, preserve one's peace of mind. Tammy, Denisa, Tasha, Manzi, so nice to see you all. We got a Seven of Cups. It says our characters don't know what's up ahead, but giving themselves a sense of peace and a break from conflict, move away from vexatious people, move on from people that you just can't seem to get on the same page with, so that, sometimes when we stop arguing with somebody and move on, sometimes they surprise us and they come back and they actually want to stop the arguing also. Sometimes taking that higher road or not responding, with the same hostility that's being shown to us, sometimes we can be shocked, but it's like, I moved on and said I'm not going to do any retribution. I'm not going to write him a nasty text. I'm not going to do that. This is, the madness has to stop somewhere, so it'll be me who moves on calmly. It just says our character could be surprised at what happens next, because sometimes that gives another person the space to either match our better energy and say, you know what, honestly, I feel like an ass because I was the one still wanting to fight. You took the high road. You know what? I should join you on the high road. We could have a really lovely change. 7 is a divine number, which is why I'm putting a positive spin on that. RT, sweetheart, absolutely. G, nice to see you, love. We've got that Page of Cups. There could be a shocking apology, and it's all because whomever our lead character is, they could be a Cancerian, but they decided to, the fighting has to stop somewhere, so it'll stop with me. And I get this feeling of not resignation, but like somebody who says, you know what, listen, I'm sorry. I don't want to fight with you. I never wanted to. So for what it's worth, I'm sorry that I upset you and stuff. I really don't want to do this. I don't want to make anybody this mad at me. And then just like moving on. I kind of feel like the laying down the argument and just letting it be, letting them win, letting them have whatever it is that they needed. Because it kind of feels really sincere. Like, honestly, I can't keep up with the fighting. I need to calm down. Like, I'd rather use my energy to knit a sweater. I'm using my time to argue with somebody, and I don't want to even do that. And it feels like that kind of like sincere surrender. It's not to be like, oh, fine, you just want to be right. I'll let you be right. That's not how this is coming across. This feels like our lead character is genuinely like saying, the only way to have a better outcome is if I go ahead and walk away from the conflict. And so I'm going to do that, but not thumbing my nose at somebody. It's like, it feels so sincere. And I think that actually shockingly yields a very sincere reaction from the person they were fighting with, which is, I wanted to tell you I'm sorry. This is a very unexpected apology. But again, I don't think it would have happened had things not played out just the way they had. We have an Emperor in the reverse. This could be such a shock because it's like, I would never have expected somebody who had been displaying like very tyrannical traits to all of a sudden humble themselves and say, I'm so sorry. I would have expected them to be like, yeah, so can't keep up the fight, huh? I would have expected them to want to keep going or mock me for, surrendering. And instead, this person is like, I'm sorry that this is some masculine saying, I'm sorry that I was definitely not at my best. We have the Hierophant, we have the Seven of Swords. It's so crazy because they were like absolutely like resisting listening to their higher self. And I almost think that whatever the argument was about, this person might even come clean and be like, I was literally lying. Anyway, I don't know if this is about a marriage, if this is two people who've been in a fight, because the Hierophant can be a marriage card. The Emperor can be somebody that we're married to. This could be two people that had been fighting, and in fact, they either want to still be married, they don't want this to end, they don't want this even to keep the fight going. Was like, honestly, I didn't want to fight with you either. I acted like I did. No, I didn't. No part of me wanted to do that. I kind of think, and acting like something didn't matter, that also wasn't true. I think this matters a great deal. Strong Taurus energy, strong Aries energy, strong Cancerian energy in this. It's pretty amazing to see two characters that maybe are both kind of like touched by the hand of the divine today. The divine energy to me is just, there's a spark of divine in all of us, right? The fact that we're here at all is a freaking miracle. And I always think that our divine self, our higher self, knows, like, why would I use my energy for fighting, for deconstruction? Why don't I always use my energy for something better? And I think when the higher self speaks up, that's the version of us that can say, I'm sorry. That's the version of us that can take accountability. And that's the version of us that can admit to the things that when we were upset and lying, we didn't want to admit to, but now our higher self can. But I really think that it is only because this first character takes the high road. This first character is the one who's like, I can't do the fighting. That's not who I want to be. So, and in moving on, like genuinely with a sincerity and that right there, it speaks of like the authenticity is what really makes everybody kind of like diffuse the situation and like laying down, basically their daggers, and metaphorically speaking. That's actually amazing. Absolutely amazing. Okay, so we do have a diffusion of a really terrible situation, and things are actually getting a lot smoother on the 11th. So that's beautiful. Now let's go ahead and move on to a message for the 12th. All right, here we go. For the 12th, that doesn't feel like the right deck. Let's go this one. Hi, everyone. Nice to see you. Anita, welcome, sweetheart. Bruce Reed, great to see you. AC's in the house. Bradley Bear. Hi, everybody. We got the Sun. We got the Nine of Pentacles. Okay. It could be a lovely day. There could be, this feels very like, September, October-esque, right? This is really nice vibes. This is like she's sitting here in amongst all these, wine casks, and it just looks like harvest time, and we got the huge sunflower. So this is very timely. Like for me, I'm in the northern hemisphere, so obviously we're moving into autumn pretty soon here on like the 22nd of this month. But end of summer is like, it's crazy harvest time. I'm squishing pears, I'm chopping up apples, making ciders, like it's crazy how much work there is to do when it's harvest season, right? But this feels so nice because there's a happiness, there's a contented energy, there's something about like completions. Nines are kind of like right before we get to the 10. So we're wrapping up cycles, but this is a cycle of great happiness. This is somebody taking a moment to celebrate. There could be something to celebrate on the 12th. It could also be like, I will do a birthday message for each of those two dates, but somebody could be celebrating like accomplishments or celebrating somebody else's birthday. We have a Five of Wands. There's definitely like, it's a day to reflect. Five of Wands is, it's like when we go around and around in our mind. Sometimes when we are trying to find the right answer to something, or when we're just reassessing and analyzing something. And I would say we have possibly a feminine on the 12th who is going to have a really great day. She may toast her own success. She may go take herself someplace on her own for some little celebration, but she's like doing a life's review, or a review of, some accomplishment, and or maybe just a review in general, and saying, you know what, I'm happy with who I am. I'm happy to be alive. We have a Two of Wands. Okay, this Two of Wands comes in, and obviously we have a whole different character. We have this masculine on the 12th, and he looks kind of like he's in hermit mode over here, sitting up on the top of a mountain. He, kind of did some camping here, but like minimalistic camping. He's obviously like off on his own vision quest, but he's sitting here and he's writing a letter or writing a song. He's debating what to do with something. Is this in regards to her? Nine of Cups. It's definitely in regards to her. This, you notice how she's sitting here and she's like looking at someone, we can't see who it is. I feel like he is very inspired to write to her because she is heavy on his mind, and a very wonderful time in his life that he shared with her. She seems to be solo, independent, and reflecting on good choices she's made. He seems to be solo, independent, and reflecting on a very bright spot in his memory, which happens to be her. Let me see. We have the Moon. We have the Four of Wands. We have the Star. We have the Knight of Cups. Okay, so I would say it's I don't want to say that it's like he's suddenly realizing, oh my gosh, I think she was kind of important to me. It's not quite like that. It's more that he knew all along how important she was to him, but it's really surfacing on the 12th. It's really like his subconscious is showing him what he knew quite some time ago. Yes, it does feel like this is two people who are possibly not in each other's world at all. She comes across as so single, but also loving her single life, and specifically appreciating her single life. At the same time, in another corner of the world, he is recognizing this was the best moments I can think of, or very sweet moments that I shared, were with her. I've known this all along. I've known she was the one I was supposed to marry. I've known all along she was the person. I'm never going to meet another person like her. He's making a decision to come on down from that mountain. If he's got to ride 3,000 miles on, I'm not going to say what I was going to say. We'll say a motorbike. There's other words, there's other terms for motorbikes that I was about to say, but I'm going to refrain because it's fairly crude. But sorry that my brain went there first. This just feels like he would like, now that he knows, like unequivocally. I don't know why he had to go get off on the top of a mountain to be able to hear his own subconscious mind, which has known all along. She's the person I want to actually spend time with and be with. She is my destination. But that's just how it was for him, or will be for him. He's discovering, I need to come back in from the cold, like literally and figuratively. I don't know, where has he been? Where have you been? Obviously not like in her day-to-day life. High Priestess, Six of Swords, Hierophant. He's been saying, I've been trying to get over her and forget her, but instead what I found was her. I found the connection to my higher self. I feel like he intentionally was going to go do some cord cutting, some purge, even if he didn't identify it that way. Again, we're talking about subconscious stuff. Sometimes in life we do things because we're trying to like symbolically clear our energy, or we're trying to get our mind off of something, and we don't necessarily say, I am going to go camping in the woods to get my mind off of someone. We don't say it that way, but that's what we're doing. I feel like that's kind of the way he operated. He had a plan though. I want to forget her. I need to move on from her because everywhere I go I think about her. But in his like taking a little solitude journey, I think what like he did a 180 and was like, in my effort to cut the energetic cord and forget about her, it actually crystallized. My higher self opened up, and I realized that that's exactly the person that I'm supposed to be with. I don't want to cut her out of my life. I want to do the reverse. I want to actually go see her. So he's making a U-turn. That's I don't know how well that's going to work, because she was just celebrating being single, and going over it in her mind and saying, you know what, I want to say, a pirate's life for me. Is that from Pan, from Peter Pan? The cartoon version, weren't they all singing that? A pirate's life for me? Maybe it's a different cartoon. Anyway, but instead it was like single's life for me is kind of what she was like, swilling her little her little glass of beverage there. And we got a 3 of wands. Look, she's thinking about a future, but she sees her future alone. So it's going to be probably a pretty big shock if he suddenly rides up on his little hog, because she's otherwise distracted, thinking about her future, planning her future. This is going to be a pretty big turnaround. She does not see this coming at all. 8 of Cups. Again, we keep seeing a solitary figure. Every time we see her, she's alone. She is saying, I leave my past behind. I celebrate, maybe that I was able to find happiness again, and that I was able to, because it was hard for me to do that. I realized I worked really hard at this, but now I can see a future, and I've got these plans, and I'm, she's kind of like looking off into the distance, and she just envisions herself doing things. I don't even think she's thinking about other love or anything else coming into her life. She's just thinking it's just going to be the royal we. 11-8, you are right on my wavelength. 7 of Pentacles. 7 of Pentacles is like, definitely she's thinking about, again, the next 50 years of the harvest of her life. She's picturing, as I age, I will have a big journey, and I will have all kinds of, wonderful experiences, and I'll write my life story. And someday, in the autumn of my life, I'll envision all these different things. She's got like a checklist of stuff she wants to go do. And she's picturing like the next 35, 45 years of her life, but she only sees her. She sees her commitment to all these things that she's going to be doing. I don't think the idea of him showing up, nor anyone showing up in her life, is even on her radar. That's her energy on the 12th. So let me change decks and ask, since you are absolutely not expecting this, and we can see him coming down from the mountain, and I don't think it's going to take him that long to do that, what's going to happen when he comes in? 7 of Wands. First off, I always look at this as Green Man, but then I also look at it as like a very fancy like door knocker. And the 7 of Wands is how we overcome obstacles, struggles, or this is going to be the obstacle. By the way, we have a lot of 7s in this story, right? 7 of Wands, 7 of Pentacles. Didn't we have 2 other 7s somewhere in here? Or am I making that up? I totally thought we had 2 other 7s. But like, this is the wall. This is the blockage. This is the thing that has to be gotten through. 6 of Swords. If he tries to come down and talk to her, I don't know that he's going to have any success on that first round. She'll either be gone, out of Dodge, maybe she's moved, maybe something is altered in her life. There may be a problem. He may knock on her door and she's either not home, or he knocks on her door and she's not home because she doesn't live there anymore. We have the sailing ship and a compass, which makes me think like this is almost 2 people that are going to miss. Like, he's going to have to turn into the chaser to get her back, is what this says. And maybe it's supposed to go that way. Maybe he's supposed to have to put in some more effort. I don't know. Queen of Swords is sideways. It's definitely like she doesn't know he's coming. I don't know that she would have intended to be home if she did know he was going to be showing up. This kind of speaks of there's some indecisiveness. I'm not sure what I would want. Even if this card were upright, we see somebody who's in statue mode and deep thought. And I'm thinking that if he approaches her, he will not make contact with her, not on his first attempt. And that might make him think, should I be doing this? You're the one sitting on a mountain saying that she's your star. She's the person you want to marry. Yeah, I think you better follow through. Sorry. Sorry. I'm like, what? We have a 10 of Wands. This person is wearing the most magnificent, like Three Musketeers hat I've ever seen. It is filled with like a cornucopia of wild birds and blooming flowers, but it is this massive hat, which to me, anything up here just talks about like the massive ideas and the thoughts and all of the energy that's been carried in one's mind. It is time, and you can see that he was kind of broody, right? Somebody who goes up on the mountaintop and broods and, says that they're going to move on from the very thing they want, and then they have like the 180. All of these things kind of speak of somebody who does carry way too much buzz up there in the head, right? They do tend to carry too many thoughts and too much brooding energy, I think. This is him laying down the brooding, because when he tries to approach her and she's not there, and then the thought comes in like, God, maybe I shouldn't be doing this, but then they like lay down that the next thing to brood over. This says that he's going to lay down the broodiness, hopefully, and just get on with it. We got the Page of Coins sideways. Okay, so I got to figure out how I can reach out to her. Let me think about this. She wasn't home when I came by. Okay, maybe I should have called or texted or emailed first. Let me try those other avenues first. This is like, there's more than one way to reach out, and I definitely think this is him not totally surrendering. Oh, Six of Coins is in the reverse. I think he's kind of setting his cap on like, until I get a message from her that says, I don't want to talk to you. If she tells me that, then I'll stop. But otherwise, I'm going to keep attempting. I think that's probably what he would need to do in this story, because she set her vision for her life as a single solitary individual. And then it seems like by chance that she's not going to be available. And it seems like he has to, maybe this is happening for him, so that he can question in his own mind, what do I really want? Well, if I said I really want her and I figured it out now, and the universe is like, well, then prove it. You said you want her. Tell me how much. I want to know, how hard do you want it? I can't think of what that song is. I'm sorry. The song, it's a like an early rap song. We have Queen of Cups and we have Two of Cups. Okay, so in this case, we didn't see the whole backstory. We just saw that she kind of made this pledge to herself that she's proud of herself for being happy and being single. And she looked at her past obstacles and realized it took her a lot to get here. And then she was envisioning a life on her own. And I'm guessing that the reason he kind of is having to put in some significant effort to like find her in the first place, win her back, he has to show some, tenacity to get back into her life, is because this has to be balanced. The Two of Cups says these two, the energy, if she gave them a lot of love once upon a time, and they were like, I don't know. I mean, come on, he was willing to give this up initially. He went sat on a mountain to forget about her intentionally, only to come around full circle. The universe might not be so thrilled with that. So wait a second, you were ready to let go of the person that you love that much? You know what? I think you're going to need to then show up, and you're going to need to give more. You're going to need to balance this out. With the Two of Cups, I know it's not like Libra scales or something, but I'm reading it kind of like that. Like for them to get back into her life, they're really going to need to match whatever love she gave them and whatever dedication. And it is like a test for them. So you want her now. Okay, well, we're not going to make it so easy, because you got a lot of stuff to make up for. The indecisiveness, you need to make up for that. The amount of love she gave you, did you reciprocate that? Did you show up for her? Did you fight for this connection? Oh, you didn't? Well, then you need to do that to bring the level back up. So then you two can maybe have a shot at being in an equalized partnership. So it does feel like they're going to have to do catch up. Now, I don't read for genders. Please remember, this could be same-sex couple. This could be reverse gender roles. So I don't mean to say it's this dude who has to make it all right with his lady. It could be that, but it could be anything. So, all right, I'm going to leave that there, and let's go ahead and get two different birthday messages, right? So first off, for someone whose birthday is on the 11th, and then we'll go to the Anita, thank you. That was Tupac. Okay, thank you. So for somebody whose birthday is on the 11th, we have a 2 of Wands, we have the 6 of Swords, and we have the Tower. So I kind of always intend that the birthday message would be like kind of like the thing to ponder in the next year for a character, right? And remember, it's always fictional, but with that 2 of Wands, it's like, remember, there's a lot of choices, but choices also mean, and the simplest choices in the world, right? If you're going to pick one thing, that means you're not going to be able to do the other thing. If I'm going to lean forward toward the camera, then all of a sudden I'm moving away from the backdrop. If I'm going to move back toward the backdrop, then I'm further away from the camera. You know, it's going to change vantage point. I'm going to look different depending on, you know, how much light is on me, or, you know, how distorted my face gets in the camera. Like those things, you make choices, even simple choices like leaning in a chair, change something in certainly in like photography. It changes stuff. You know, vantage point is everything. You can look enormous or like huge body, little head if you put the vantage point wrong. So the point is, choices have to be made, and we make them every day in life. But this is possibly like a bigger choice, because it does say it would mean that a character is going to make a more significant change in their life. And just walking in with open eyes and saying, let me consider, if I choose this, in this case, I choose the world, then I may be choosing to move on from, let's say, family. Let's say somebody's going to have a choice to become famous in the next year. Okay, then you're going to give up being anonymous, because now everybody's going to know you. If you're going to pick a career where you go out and you travel the world, you're not going to be at home to be there for all of your family's events. You know, it just says it will change things. Now, this might be exactly the change that a character needs. Breath of fresh air, sense of freedom, sense of international travel, sense of, you know, holding my future in my own hands, picking what I need to, empowering myself. And that might be the change, because I look at the Tower as a good card. But it just says for a character to be mindful that what we choose in life, even little things, even the position of how we sit in a chair, changes things in life. So just be mindful of that. And if you're ready for the change, then by all means, embrace it. But you probably can't have both. This character can't have both. They do have an upcoming change in their life, but what's nice is they get to pick whether or not they want to do this. It will cost them something. But again, as long as they're saying, yes, I agree to pay that cost because I want to be famous, and so I'll give up, you know, being anonymous, even though that's going to change my life, you know, or whatever this is. It just feels like there's actually freedom for our character, and possibly, I don't know, it almost feels like our character's world is going to expand. Maybe somebody's going to get a career opportunity to travel abroad. Maybe that's going to change their whole life, or, you know, doesn't even have to be abroad, but just to change something. And it's like, oh my gosh, that means I have to ask my family to come visit me, or family to move with me, or, you know, whatever this is, because we have movement. We have like a bettering of life circumstances for our character, should they choose the path that they say, I'll pick this because I think it's going to be better than what I've been doing. It just says, you know, make choices with eyes wide open. But that looked really positive and very empowering. All right, and then let's go ahead and get somebody a birthday that is for the 12th. We have got the King of Wands, the Empress sideways. Okay, so hang on, because we got a nice universal flow. This always feels like if the universe, I always picture like somebody who's eating sunflower seeds and then spitting out the holes, you know. I don't know why I always picture that, you know, cracking them on your teeth and spitting out the seeds. I'm a little country. Can you tell? That is like such a fond memory. As kids, we thought that was so cool. I don't know why, but we loved that. being able to spit seeds on the ground. I don't know. That felt so amazing to us. We have Justice card upright. So we do have 2 major arcana out of 3 cards. And Libra's factoring pretty heavy because we got it both here, but then also some Taurus coming in. This feels like the universe is spitting somebody new into a character's life. It is for the purpose of like, it's been a long time since she had a good time. Because I'm hearing that song Blue Ain't Your Color, Keith Urban, and it just feels like an empress deserves some wonderful, warm-hearted, amazing person that's going to be set on her path. Hers doesn't matter, but we're going to say hers. And it says, if you choose to ignore this wonderful, warm-hearted, amazing person that the universe just spit onto your path, you might be doing yourself the injustice, because this is a real gift. It just kind of hints that sometimes we end up meeting people that are really wonderful or having great opportunities that kind of materialize before our very eyes. But if we don't notice it and we just shrug and be like, I'm so used to having things not go my way, that we can perpetuate our own, injustices if we don't recognize when we get those wins. And so I hope that our character is going to be able to receive. Now, the other thing I do want to say is that sometimes an Empress sideways doesn't feel super confident because they've been treated poorly. And so even when somebody wonderful shows up, they'll like be overly humble and be like, well, I'm sure that wonderful person isn't looking my way. I mean, that's not the way I get treated, And it's like, wait a minute. She's got to be in the mindset that says, hell yes, I want to be treated real nice by a real nice person that showed up in my world. Yes, I can believe that person would be attracted to me, and I'm attracted to them, and they're fabulous. And you know what? I'm fabulous too. It just warns our character, like within this next year, it is really important to be mindful. We don't want to push away gifts and blessings because we are so invested in telling ourselves like nothing good ever happens to me. I'm not that attractive. Somebody couldn't like me. Like, definitely that is not the dialogue to be telling ourselves, especially in this next year. Because we have really good things coming in the next year. And this is just that reminder, like you deserve the good stuff. Yes, you are sexy enough to have a really sexy person want you. Yes, you're amazing. So it's a good time to start, practicing feeling better about oneself and being willing to receive the gifts. I really like that too. I think that's such a necessary reminder. You guys, thank you so much. 11-8, you're adorable. It took you 20 years to learn you're not supposed to eat the shells. Well, I will tell you, I used to just eat the kiwis and not skin them. I ate the furry skin. And when I was in Greece, my friends were mortified. Like, I love figs, but in Greece, they flip them inside out and then like scrape off the seeds with their teeth. I love the outside of a fig. And they looked at me like I was eating banana in the skin. They were like, oh, what did you do? And I was like, what do you mean? This is my favorite part. I love how, the skin on the outside of the fig, like it's got that little resistance. And they were like, oh my God, she's eating like a coconut whole. Yeah. So everybody's different. Sweet. So good to see you, love. Bruce Reed, oh my gosh, you stayed up all night. I'm so honored, Bruce. Merci beaucoup. Thank you for being here. Oh my gosh, 11-8. I support you in eating cake anytime you wish. I think every day is somebody's birthday, and I believe in celebrating everybody's birthday. So I think that the more cake, the happier the humans, the better the world is. Ian, so nice to see you, love. Hi, Nani. AC, has it felt like a long week? See, I feel like my week has been such a fumbled start that I can't believe that we're already on Wednesday, because I should have had so much more accomplished. I move pretty soon too. And so I'm looking around going, wow, I've really got to step on the pedal here. I'm excited that we're just now shifting over to Thursday. Thank you again, Anita. Molly, hi, sweetheart. So good to see you. Lighthouse by the CC, the Crazy Crystal. Thank you so much. You also knew that was Tupac. I could not think of who that was. Thank you both. Vertical Rising. Hey, hey. Oh, that's awesome. Vertical rising. Beautiful G, Stevette Gibson, Empress Unicorn. Thank you, love. Oh, I'm so glad you guys like this one. It technically, sorry, let me move my big head. It is more like a tip of the hat to Gemini, but I didn't want to keep it only for Gemini because I really liked the imagery on it, and I thought, to me, it speaks of more than that. So, but yes, it is technically more of a Gemini backdrop, but we're gonna expand. Good, AC. I'm glad you like this one too. Oh, I see your papa had to work all day. 11 I agree with you. I hope everybody sang happy birthday to AC's papa. Dancing Moon, hi honey. Hanguk Napi, thank you for being here. Cataclysmic Awakening, awesome to see you. RT, so great to catch you, love. Bruce Reed again, sweet dreams, hun. And again, Bradley Bear, Tammy Johnson, Denisa, Tasha, Mancy Luthra. Thank you, everybody. Really good to see you guys tonight. All right, everybody. Violet. Hi, Violet. Violet, you know you're always first no matter what. You share first place with no matter who else is first. I think we all know that. You guys are awesome. Astrid Noid, hi, hun. All right, everybody. Sweet dreams. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now. Take care.